So when I was doing the work on the front end here, I noticed the ball joints on this side were shot. Having that tie rod off, I noticed I couldn't spin this wheel here by hand. It would not turn, it was froze up. And then with your power steering, you can kind of override that, but it's not steering right. It won't, steer won't return to center, and that's because of those ball joints. So I want to change those ball joints.
If you want to stop this rotor from spinning, just shove a screwdriver in here somewhere, and that will lock it in place.
So it's a 3/8 Allen wrench. Oops. So do yourself a favor when you pull these off, get you some kind of a hook and hang this off that hook, not from your line. If you hang it off your line, you're actually you could damage that brake line. So just hang it off a hook somewhere out of the way. And then I have a tool for taking these nuts off. Tool just locks in there like so. There's no reason to, I mean, people do it all the time. They use a chisel. Sometimes they get hammered out pretty bad from being beat on, and they really don't need to be that tight. And one of these tools is really not that expensive. And just carefully pull that off. You don't want to damage the seal. So now we're down to the spindle. There is 6 bolts in here, or nuts, that will take off, and then this whole brake assembly and spindle will come off out of the way where we can actually get to the axle. It's moving. Get a little oil and put on there. There we go. Oh my goodness, that U-joint. So I got a U-joint here that's seized up. That could have been part of the steering problem. Oh, you know what? I think I did have a bad ball joint. I felt some movement in here. But my steering issues is actually U-joint. Can't get it. Oh, there we go. All right, so I got to do a U-joint too. Pull that out all the way. And I could feel some movement in this. You can hear it. Top one. Top one for sure is bad there too, so I'll go ahead and knock the tie rod off this, and then try to get these 2 nuts off, and then we'll take this unit and try to replace ball joints in it. Okay, I managed to get that off of there. It was rusted on. Pretty good. So these are the ball joints here we got to change. I used a little heat on this here just to expand that some. It helped a lot. So anyhow. Okay, so I hit this with a wire wheel a little bit because I need to get that clip out. Just a C-clip. Need to get that out. And then I got to push that through, and this one doesn't have a clip on it. It's got a groove for a clip, but they don't always have a clip, and that one needs to push out that way as well. So I've got a press tool we'll use. I might put a little heat on here with the torch just to expand it a little bit so it'll slide out.
I might be able to just whack it with, I'll heat it up and just see if I can knock it with the hammer. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to start with the upper ball joint. That in there. I better put a cap on here. There we go. There we go. Back that off. Slip this guy in here. You almost need 3 hands to do this. Phew, that is... Oh, whoa, whoa! I get that C-clip in there. This guy. Got a grease zerk we'll put in. And my C-clip. Nice.
Basically, we're just reassembling this the way we took it apart. This top nut has a little castle type insert in it. Here, that we need a special tool to tighten up, which I have one here.
But we'll get this bottom nut tightened up and then we'll deal with the top one. Okay, I'm going to torque the lower to 70. Okay.
Now there's a sleeve right
Here. Takes a special tool. I took it out after I got all this apart. So I'm just going to thread that in by hand. Just kind of wiggle it. There's the slop will go away. There's a little slop in there right now because of that. Because that's tapered. I didn't show you, darn it. It's a tapered sleeve. Goes over the ball joint. When it's in there, it does have a relief in it. It makes it pretty easy to thread that out. But you have to have that. It has to be set right. That's what that special tool goes in to adjust that. So, and that's what sets the ball joint. Apparently there must be different specs when they machine all these parts, so they've come up with something a little different.
Uh, 1 inch. All right.
And then I'll go a little more just to get that cotter pin in where it belongs. Okay. Now I can put my new cotter pin in. Boy, it's making me breathe hard. Don't like it. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Now, get the U-joint changed and throw that axle in and throw the rest of this back together. So, guess what I found? Another bad U-joint. So I pulled this little plug out. This upper ball joint comes with a cap, little plug for your zerk. Problem is, grease zerk on the top here, on this top one, will hit your U-joint as it's spinning. So you can't keep it in there, unfortunately. So they come with a little cap, but you need that zerk so you can grease this ball joint. So I'm gonna put that zerk in there. Give it a couple of pumps. Heard some air come out. Oh, that's good. Okay, and I'll get this bottom one. Then we'll give this one a little shot as well. Make sure I got enough in there. All right. Now I can take that zerk back out. Put my plug back in, if you're wondering. Yeah. All right. So now we can install the axle. Went in there. So that's in there all the way. The next thing we're going to do is install the spindle. I'm going to take it over to the wire wheel and clean some of this rust off of here real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned all this off with the wire wheel, just so there's nothing keeping that from sliding in and out right. I went ahead and cleaned it up right here, pretty close to where that seal is. Didn't want any of that rust or junk getting on there. So I don't know what you need to do this. I like to do it just when I go to tear it apart again. I like to put a little anti-seize around this ring here. I say little. I got gob on there. And then put a little grease inside that spindle on those bearings. Check those bearings out, make sure they look fine. And then put a little grease on there. That's about the only time they get greased. And then I like to put this up on top, that notch, just so I know where it's at. That little bit of grease I have left, I'm just going to smear on here where that seal would ride, just to help it. I'm going to seat those in so I don't have trouble later. And don't forget to put that little guy back in here. Wherever you are. Here you are. Last one I put together, I almost forgot. completely. And I'll back it off a little bit. This is the part I struggle with. I can't see. Where's that pin? It's down there. What? First try? Unbelievable. Okay. I like to spruce this stuff up a little bit here. This pickup's not beautiful, but there's no reason for it to look like a wreck. It looks like a wreck. Oh, disengage that. There we go. This is an old school Selectro hub. You don't see very many of these around anymore. I don't know how strong it is, but I really like it. Not only because it's retro, but I like this big handhold. Instead of grabbing that little piece down here to twist, you can grab that whole thing and give it a twist. I really like that. If you got gloves on, which is probably likely, you can really grab onto that easy. I got to give that a little turn. Come on, one way or the other. There we go. Oops. There we go. Come on, stay. There we go. All right, we got her all buttoned up. Things went pretty good. I found a few other little problems. I ended up doing the ball joints over here like I thought needed done. They were loose, or the upper one was loose, but the problem happened to be the steering U-joint for the steering axle. While I was doing that, I checked the other side because it was still a little stiff, and I found a bad U-joint on the other side as well. So I got two U-joints, ball joints on this side. Next step is I'll just have to get it out and do a little driving and see if I find any other problems. So, hey, appreciate you watching, following along. It means a lot to me. I hope you found this helpful. And if not, I'm just glad you're watching. So, anyhow, thanks for watching. And if you haven't, please subscribe. And we'll catch up with you later. Bye.